Good people, I'm Dmitry. This is the Sennheiser GSP 670. It had disappointed me in the past, and I'm told the new GSP 370 is supposed to make up for it. Let's see if it does. This headset has so much potential. I mean, it's Sennheiser we're talking about. They make fantastic hardware, they sound great, they last forever, but the software is not their strong suit. As you guys should know by now, I keep all relevant headsets in my collection, so when new products come out, I can do a proper comparison. We'll do a mic test and conclude with my current wireless headset recommendation. Should be fun. The Neo cases by Metal Gear come in 3 variations: Neo Silent, Neo Air, and Neo G to satisfy your build and visual preference with the good I/O, excellent internal layout, and RGB fans included on Neo G and Air models. Check the description to see which Neo is best for you. Right off the bat, these are a lot more comfortable than the bulky GSP 670. The 370 has a smaller frame and less clamping force, and they still look a bit ridiculous, but nowhere near the ugly fit of the 600 series. We have a nice and tight seal for great passive isolation, and the ear cups are fantastic with this velvet top layer that makes contact with your skin, and the leather body for the exterior that beautifully traps those bass hits. No issues wearing these with glasses too, and this is easily the most comfortable wireless headset in my collection. Plus, I appreciate the dark tones. Color-wise, it's a good-looking pair. These are not Bluetooth, unlike the GSP 670. The wireless connection is handled by the USB dongle that is labeled underside for clarification. And the little tip, you can always stash the USB inside the ear cup for storage. Everything is plastic the way it should be to keep the weight down, with insane flexibility of the frame and robust size extensions. And as usual, the massive boom mic is non-removable but is muted when in the upright position, and the volume wheel on the right now has these soft tactile steps that move in 2% increments, and the actual volume adjustment is not immediate, it catches up in a few seconds. You charge this pair with the micro USB at the bottom. Kinda sucks that they still have not moved to Type-C yet, and the power button is the dinkiest slider that I've seen that doesn't even deserve to be in such a premium body. The reason why I initially considered this to be my new favorite wireless headset is because of comfort, battery life, and sound quality. So comfort-wise, they're fantastic. Battery life has impressed me the most because they're rated for 100 hours, and I used them for a week extensively, over 70 hours of usage minimum, and only then I dropped to the 20% low battery beep. So as advertised, these will last you for a long time. And as for sound, they are pretty powerful. I run these between 60 and 80% volume, so there's a bit of headroom left in terms of power output. They are tuned to sound a bit more open, so the soundstage is not super claustrophobic and closed off like you would find like on the Corsair Virtuoso, for example. The detail resolution is nowhere near what I would get with a wired pair like my HT58X, but the sound clarity here is more pleasant to my ears. It's smoother than the HyperX Cloud Flight, the G935, and the Virtuoso combined. The treble is smooth, nice roll-off, typical Sennheiser fashion, with nice bass trapping in there as well that doesn't overpower frequencies. And the main thing is you can tell this is a wireless headset because the clarity and the resolution of the detail that you would normally find on a wired pair is not exactly on the level, but it's pretty satisfactory. I will say the layering is so much better with the 370 versus the Corsair Virtuoso and the Cloud Flight, but they do sound pretty comparable to the 935 from Logitech, and I really like that sound signature. This was a very good pair for CSGO and Quake, listening to all my regular audio cues for awareness, so everything in that sense was well delivered, and environmental ambience in Red Dead 2 and Fallen Order perfectly fine, no complaints with the driver performance. And this is where we stop the hype train and talk about all the issues, the microphone, and the software.
And this is what the microphone sounds like. Really poor performance for the price point for $199, especially coming from Sennheiser. Furthermore, the side tone feature is disabled, unlike it was fully enabled and working properly on the GSP 670, and the noise cancellation slider is also grayed out, so you cannot even adjust the noise cancellation properties. So much for the noise cancelling broadcast quality microphone. This is unacceptable for my ears. Let me know if you agree.
For comparison, here's a Corsair Virtuoso headset, also a wireless pair, of course.
And this one to me just sounds slightly better, not as compressed and not as like nasally. There's a bit more clarity in there. It doesn't have as much bass as the Sennheiser pair, but I think this is a better sounding microphone. This is what the HyperX Cloud Flight sounds like. Ouch. It's an embarrassing quality. Not as bad as the GSP 370, but this thing is half price. So you decide. Just for reference, here's a proper quality microphone, the PC37X, also a Sennheiser pair. This is a wired one, and I'm running it through the Sound Blaster X3 that has a mic input. Fantastic quality over here, and this is what you're up against in terms of sound quality on the wireless side versus a proper wired one.
And now here's an embarrassing fact. As I plugged in the GSP 670 into my machine to record a mic sound test in comparison to the 370, my machine crashed and this thing is not being recognized by the dongle. I have not used this headset since the review. You can watch that video and hear the microphone test versus others, but the Sennheiser Gaming Suite software, man, they really have to do something with it. Unfortunately, I've also experienced many other issues with the GSP 370 on my main editing AMD Threadripper system, like crackles coming through the headset when the dongle is plugged into the front USB port on the case. When I plug the dongle into the motherboard, the crackles become less frequent, but are still present. The headset will also not wake up after I reboot the system, and I have to replug the dongle every single time, which does not happen on any of my Intel machines. So why? But I will say the microphone did stop working while I was in-game twice. Everything else was working perfectly fine. I could hear my audio, but my microphone just stopped picking up my audio until I replugged the USB dongle. And at one point, audio got fully distorted, which is actually something that I've experienced with the GSP 670 really early on, before firmware updates, before it was fully public and stuff. It's kind of strange to hear that. And you guessed it, it was all resolved when I replugged the USB dongle. And so the entire experience with the 370 is kind of rise and fall. The software and all of its issues killed the competitive nature of this pair, despite them being super comfortable and them sounding very good for a wireless pair. But to be honest, no headset should cause this much frustration, as I've experienced both on the GSP 670 and the 370 now. And Sennheiser, I'm sure they're working on upgrading the Sennheiser driver suite software, but it was also a big weak point for the previous wireless headset. Right now, my wireless recommendation still stands with the HyperX Cloud Flight, even though the microphone sounds like trash, and they don't sound as good, let me tell you that, like the GSP 370 or the 670. These are extremely comfortable. I've never encountered any sort of issues in terms of drivers and the microphone not working, the audio distorting, it shutting down my system, it not working with DaVinci Resolve. Like, the issues that arise with something like that are just unexpected from the Sennheiser side, which is why the Cloud Flight still is my wireless recommendation. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to check out this other relevant content. I'm Dmitry. I'll talk to you in the next video.